It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. You are among the rare individuals prepared to truly understand the raw power within you, power that can create real change in your life almost instantly. As a chosen one, there's a reason you felt different, perhaps even misunderstood at times. The truth is that you possess an exceptional capacity to shape your reality in ways that most can barely comprehend. In the next few moments, we'll unveil why your manifesting abilities have been stifled, and, more importantly, how to release them like a god. If you feel a calling in your gut, a sense that everything is about to shift, you're already on the right track. Stay with me, and if you're ready for this transformation, please like, subscribe, and comment 77 below to open the gates to your next level. Chapter 1. Awakening to your true role. Life might have placed countless labels on you, from friend to employee, from child to caretaker, but beneath these everyday roles lies a deeper identity. You are a chosen one. You've always had a sense that reality isn't as rigid as it appears. Perhaps you've noticed that when you truly commit your thoughts and emotions to a specific outcome, strange synchronicities appear. It might feel as if certain events happen too coincidentally to be random, or that people sense your presence in a way they can't fully explain. This isn't mere daydreaming. You've already touched glimpses of your manifesting potential. The key is recognizing the pattern. Each time you focus your intentions with clarity and emotion, the world around you responds. It's not magic. It's a law of the universe that most people simply fail to harness. While many drift through life with casual wishes or faint hopes, you, consciously or not, have always been able to stir the currents of possibility more than they can. Yet, like anyone else, you've been swayed by outside opinions. Critics might have labeled you unrealistic, claiming that luck doesn't last forever or that you should keep your ambitions small. They believed they were helping by keeping you grounded, but in truth, they were capping your power. Over time, you might have pulled back from your boldest visions. You minimized your dreams to avoid standing out or to keep the peace with loved ones who didn't share your confidence. All the while, your inherent manifesting ability simmered beneath the surface, waiting for your permission to erupt. This chapter is about reclaiming that permission. Imagine your consciousness as a sleeping giant. The moment you decide to awaken it, everything changes. Suddenly, you're no longer burdened by the constraints that once shaped your day-to-day life. The structures people set up to keep themselves feeling safe, things like limited thinking, cautionary advice, or cynical mindsets, are no longer your barriers. They're just old frameworks that never truly belong to you. The key to your awakening lies in two simple questions. Who do you believe you are? And what do you believe you deserve? When you look at yourself as a divine creator, you realize that self-doubt was never part of your original design. It was taught or imposed. Being a chosen one means acknowledging your ability to transform thought into reality with far fewer steps than traditional logic demands. The shift begins the moment you embrace this identity wholeheartedly. And once you do, you'll never see impossible the same way again. Chapter 2. Shifting from wishing to knowing. Many people spend their whole lives wishing for better circumstances, hoping that luck or fate will eventually favor them. They utter phrases like, "If only I had more time," or "Maybe one day I'll catch a break." But as a chosen one, your journey isn't about wishing. It's about stepping into a knowing so profound that what you desire must come to pass. This isn't blind optimism. It's a clear, unwavering certainty that your inner world shapes the outer world far more than you've been led to believe. Consider moments when you felt absolutely sure something would happen. Perhaps you were so certain about it, you spoke of it as if it were already done. In these instances, things had a curious way of unfolding exactly as you pictured, almost as if your conviction alone sealed the deal. This underscores the difference between hoping and knowing. Hoping implies you might fail. Knowing places your result on a non-negotiable timeline. The challenge is maintaining that conviction in the face of contrary evidence or skeptical onlookers. You might share a bold dream only to be met with laughter or doubts. These reactions, especially from those close to you, one can sting. They can cause you to question your path or even rewrite your intentions into something smaller, more palatable to others. But your calling isn't about pleasing them. It's about fulfilling a role only you can inhabit. Think of your power to manifest like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Yet most people keep their manifesting muscle dormant, working it only sporadically, if at all. They settle for small improvements in life because that's all they think they can manage. You, on the other hand, have glimpsed your greater capacity. Maybe you've run into moments where things lined up so perfectly, you were left speechless. You might have brushed it off as an outlier, but deep down, you knew it wasn't just chance. To shift from wishing to knowing, practice placing yourself in the realm of certainty before visible proof arrives. Let your mind linger on the outcome you've chosen, feeling it in your body as if it's already real. When doubts creep in, remind yourself that your inner reality holds more sway than external noise. Over time, this practice will become second nature, and every act of manifestation will feel less like a risky gamble and more like a predictable extension of who you are. Chapter 3. Taking the throne of your reality. The phrase manifest like a god might sound dramatic, yet it captures something crucial. You have the right to shape the events and circumstances in your life on a level that most would never dare to attempt. Think of your reality as a kingdom and yourself as a ruler stepping up to the throne. Yes, there are other influences and external factors, but none are as consistently powerful as your own conscious alignment. Growing up, you were taught limitations. Maybe you were told that certain achievements are reserved for the gifted or the wealthy, or perhaps that obtaining what you desire has to be a grueling process requiring luck or a specific kind of privilege. Those messages seep into your subconscious, creating mental checkpoints that keep you from recognizing your innate authority. It's like being handed a palace at birth but spending years living in the courtyard because no one told you you're allowed to walk through the grand doors. Sitting on that throne means taking responsibility. You can no longer blame circumstances or other people for an unfulfilled life. The moment you declare yourself as the chief architect of your existence, you're also owning up to any self-imposed sabotage or patterns of fear that have held you back. This might feel intimidating at first, but it's also liberating. By claiming the throne, you open the door to experiences you might never have considered within your reach. To truly occupy this role, you have to shift how you speak to yourself daily. Swap out phrases like "I can't" or "this might not work" for "I will," and "it's already in motion." Language is not a small detail. It's the scaffolding that holds your beliefs in place. Each time you verbalize your intentions with confidence, you firm up the foundation of your manifesting power. Beyond words, your actions also matter. Watch how you carry yourself. Do you walk into a room with the energy of someone who respects and honors their own vision? Or do you shrink at the first hint of criticism? The more consistently you align your speech, posture, and decisions with the understanding that you control your reality, the more swiftly you'll see results. Eventually, this alignment becomes an unshakable habit. In that moment, no skepticism can derail you, and no obstacle can convince you to abandon your throne. Chapter 4. Dissolving old limitations. One of the biggest hurdles a chosen one faces is the lingering effect of old beliefs. Even after you decide to take control, those outdated thoughts can resurface. They might say, "That dream is too big," or "Who are you to live that kind of life?" These doubts usually stem from past experiences, times when you tried to manifest something, but it didn't pan out how you expected. Disappointment can be a powerful teacher, but it can also become a misleading guide if you let it overshadow your future potential. The first step to dissolving these limitations is acknowledging them without judgment. If a negative memory pops up, observe it. Notice the emotions it stirs in you. Then remind yourself that you're no longer bound by that past. You've changed, you've grown, and your skills have evolved. What once felt out of reach now falls within your domain. You're not the same person you were when you missed that opportunity or lost that relationship. Another angle to consider is that some of your so-called failures were actually lessons guiding you to refine your approach. Maybe you had to learn to trust your instincts more, or perhaps your timing needed to align with other factors you weren't aware of at the time. Reframing these experiences in a positive light isn't just motivational fluff. It's a practical way to shift your internal narrative from victimhood to mastery. Surrounding yourself with a supportive environment accelerates the process. If people around you constantly reinforce scarcity or skepticism, it becomes an uphill battle to maintain your certainty. This doesn't mean cutting off everyone who doubts you, but it does mean carefully choosing how you spend your time and whose opinions you allow into your inner world. Seek out individuals or communities that encourage expansive thinking, where manifesting grand visions is seen as normal, even expected. Ultimately, dissolving limitations is an ongoing process. Each day you'll find new edges to push, and that's not a bad thing. Growth is a constant evolution, and for every barrier you break, you discover a broader horizon. Whenever you feel a wave of doubt, remind yourself, the real measure of your power isn't in never having doubts, but in recognizing them for what they are, temporary ripples on an otherwise infinite ocean of possibility. Chapter 5. Wielding your creative force. You've probably heard people say that thoughts become things, yet many misunderstand this phrase. They assume if they merely think about what they want once or twice, it should appear. Manifestation, however, isn't just about fleeting mental images. It's about sustained focus, emotional alignment, and a certainty that defies conventional logic. When you harness all three, you start to wield a creative force that can reshape your life in noticeable ways. Focus is more than simply daydreaming about a new car or a thriving relationship. It involves training your mind to linger in possibility rather than drift into doubt. Each day you're bombarded with information, some of which contradicts what you're trying to create. You might see news of economic instability, hear negative gossip, or deal with family members who question your choices. Your task is to hold your vision steady, not out of blind denial, but out of a deliberate choice to energize only that which you want to experience. Emotional alignment goes hand in hand with focus. If you're saying, I want abundance, but your body tenses up whenever you think about bills or financial obligations, you create an inner battle. Your emotions are just as potent as your thoughts, and they need to support each other. Imagine your dream scenario. How does it feel? Are you calm, excited, confident? Practicing that emotional state in the present moment signals to reality that you're already living it. When you maintain those feelings long enough, your outer conditions start to mirror them back to you. Then there's certainty, the unshakable belief that what you want is not just possible, but inevitable. Doubt is normal, but certainty means you don't linger in that doubt for too long. If skepticism creeps up, you address it, reaffirm your vision, and move forward. The more you do this, the more powerful your creative force becomes. You might question whether this process could verge on arrogance, but it's not about inflating your ego, it's about embracing your inherent capacity as a chosen one. By fully accepting that you can direct your reality, you also accept the responsibility that comes with it. You realize your influence isn't just a quirky trick, it's a fundamental part of who you are. And when used wisely, it can bless you and those around you in ways you never anticipated. Chapter 6. Why very few people will see this. You might wonder why a message this vital doesn't echo from every corner of society. The answer is simple. Not everyone is ready. Many cling to the familiar comfort of, things just happen, believing life is a roll of the dice. The idea that we each hold immense creative control can feel intimidating or even inconvenient. Accepting it means you can no longer hide behind excuses, and that's a step not everyone is prepared to take. Yet here you are, reading these words, already proving that you're on a different wavelength than most. This isn't about self-congratulation. It's about recognizing that you've been drawn to a path where pretending to be powerless is no longer an option. Whether it came through an intuitive nudge, a chance encounter, or a persistent feeling that there has to be more, something has carried you to this threshold. With every paragraph you finish, you confirm a willingness to examine reality at a deeper resolution than the mainstream is willing to render. The scarcity of this knowledge in everyday conversation underscores how transformative it is. Imagine a world where every commuter on a crowded train knows that their thoughts shape timelines. Morning news programs would discuss intention setting alongside the weather. Boardrooms would measure success not just by quarterly profit, but by collective well-being. Political campaigns would center on inclusive visions rather than fear-baiting. Such a shift would topple institutions that rely on powerlessness to sell products, push agendas, or maintain control. Declaring that we are co-creators threatens any system rooted in scarcity and hierarchy. So the message remains niche, whispered between those bold enough to claim it. Because the wider culture doesn't echo your discoveries, you may experience pockets of isolation. Friends may smile politely when you speak of synchronicities. Family might urge you to be realistic. As that happens, pause before defending yourself. Remember that resistance often says more about the listener's unhealed self-doubt than about your truth. When people scoff, they're often protecting the fragile belief that life is safer when unpredictable and external. Recognizing this keeps you from absorbing their uncertainty and turning it into your own. Paradoxically, the very loneliness of this path equips you with clarity. Without constant external validation, you refine your inner compass. You learn to measure progress by experiential evidence. The job offer that arrived within hours of a visualization, the coincidental meeting that resolved the thorny problem, the sudden calm that replaced chronic anxiety. Once you reclaim authorship of your story, these small but undeniable victories knit a personal tapestry of proof. Over time, the tapestry becomes so intricate that disbelief is no longer an option. Lived experience trumps inherited skepticism. As your results accumulate, curious observers will surface. A coworker might pull you aside after a big presentation and ask how you stayed so centered. An old friend may notice the way opportunities orbit you and request advice. When that happens, resist the urge to overwhelm them with doctrine. Offer breadcrumbs. Share a single practice that worked for you, like setting a 3-line intention each morning, and let their own evidence guide them. People rarely adopt a new paradigm because of persuasive arguments. They adopt it when their personal results contradict their previous worldview. Understand, too, that becoming a living example is part of your assignment. Your calm in crisis, your generosity when others cling to scarcity, your creativity and problem-solving all broadcast the frequency of empowered living louder than any lecture. Sometimes you'll be the only one in the room who refuses to participate in gossip or fear spirals. That quiet refusal sends ripples, showing an alternative route without preaching. Over months and years, those ripples collect into waves. This process is self-reinforcing. The more you embody creative sovereignty, the more life offers proof of its validity. Each proof compounds your confidence, which in turn sharpens your ability to manifest, attracting yet more confirmation. Eventually, what felt like a fragile secret becomes an unshakable knowing. At that stage, external resistance barely registers. It's like wind against a mountain, noticed but incapable of erosion. So if the road sometimes feels narrow, celebrate its rarity. You're walking ahead of the curve, learning skills society will one day teach in classrooms. The solitude you occasionally feel is the echoing silence of undiscovered territory, vast, open, and charged with potential. Trust that every courageous step you take clears a trail others will eventually follow. For now, honor the privilege of seeing what few are willing to see. Guard your mindset with the vigilance of a gardener protecting rare seedlings. Feed it books, conversations, and environments that align with expansion. Rest when skepticism from the outside world wears you down. Then rise again, ready to demonstrate through action what many still doubt in theory. You've been entrusted with a truth both liberating and demanding. Use it, model it, and when the time is right, pass it on, one awakened conversation at a time, until very few becomes more than enough, and the collective reality shifts to match the empowered vision you already know is possible. Chapter 7. The Emergence of Your Divine Power. Now that you've acknowledged your ability to manifest like a god, the next phase is letting that power pour into every corner of your existence. This doesn't demand monumental effort or complex rituals. It calls for something simpler, steady consistency and radical openness. Each time you affirm your creative authority, even in the small, everyday matters, you plant a flag that says, "My life will mirror my highest aspirations." Over days and weeks, those flags form a visible map guiding every choice you make. The first confirmations often slip in quietly. A long-shot email gets an enthusiastic reply. A neighbor you never spoke to suddenly offers the exact tool you need. You overhear a sentence in a podcast that unlocks a problem you've wrestled with for months. None of this is random. It's evidence that your inner frequency is broadcasting more clearly and reality is tuning in. Treat these moments as you would early green shoots in a garden. Protect them, water them, and note their growth in a journal so your logical mind can't dismiss the progress as coincidence. As your momentum builds, new allies appear. Maybe it's a colleague who recognizes your vision and volunteers their design skills, or a mentor who offers insights that would otherwise cost thousands. Equally, some relationships will fade. People rooted in outdated versions of you might feel uneasy around your acceleration. Let them drift without resentment. Nature prunes branches to channel nutrients where they're needed most. Your life follows the same law of selective growth. Practical structure keeps divine power grounded. Design a morning routine that reminds you who you are before the world tries to tell you otherwise. A 5-minute visualization, a handwritten note stating your top intention for the day, or a brisk walk that primes your physiology for decisive action. Then translate big dreams into bite-sized tasks on a calendar you actually check. Miracles favor the prepared. Inevitably, doubts will try to sneak back in. When they do, perform an evidence audit. List 3 times you broke through limitations that once felt too movable. Recall the day you trusted an inner nudge and it paid off. Facts disarm fear faster than positive slogans ever could. Remember, you are the chosen one in your own narrative, and that title can't be voted away by external skeptics or temporary setbacks. Your power also expands to deliberate generosity. When resources or ideas flow to you, pass them forward. Recommend a friend for an opportunity, share hard-won knowledge with someone a step behind, or donate a portion of new income to a cause that resonates with your ethos. Giving signals to your subconscious that abundance is the norm, not a rare accident, and it keeps the current cycling back in greater volume. Pay attention to your physical vessel too. Energy wants a strong conduit. Hydrate like it's a job, prioritize sleep as sacred strategy, and move your body daily to keep stress hormones from corroding your clarity. You wouldn't wire a high-voltage circuit through frayed cables. Treat your nervous system with the same respect. Expect your intuition to sharpen. You'll sense when to speak up in a meeting, when to hold silence, and when to pivot an entire project before the data tells you to. Act on these nudges quickly, even if they seem illogical on paper, because hesitation dulls the signal. Over time, you build a portfolio of wins that started as nothing more than a gut feeling honored in real time. Soon, you'll notice an acceleration effect. The distance between intention and manifestation shrinks. Ideas sketched in the morning morph into tangible outcomes by nightfall. Use this compression wisely. Anchor each new success with gratitude so your ego doesn't hijack the narrative and turn power into arrogance. Gratitude is a ballast that keeps a rocket ship heart from spinning off course. Remember, there is no final summit here, only a continually rising horizon. Every achievement becomes the new baseline from which you launch the next iteration of yourself. That perpetual expansion isn't exhausting, it's exhilarating because you're no longer trudging uphill against resistance. You're surfing a wave you generated, steering it with conscious decisions and inviting others to ride their own. The story continues, page by page, choice by choice, each chapter written in real time by the hands that now know their own strength. Keep those hands open, steady, and ready. The power pouring through them is only getting started.